All right. So this is our slow flow of our class this week, and it's the first time going into the throat chakra because we've been talking about the different chakras in the class. So we're going to start out with a heart opener that gets a little bit more into the throat. So that's why we have our block at the tallest height at the back, and then at the second height here, that's going to be for underneath our shoulder blades. So you can bring your shoulders over it to where they just come over that block, and then you'll have the other one there for your head. My ponytail is in a very bad spot for this, but making any hair adjustments. And once you feel settled in there, you can bring your arms out to the sides and you just determine where you want your legs to be. So maybe the soles of the feet are onto the mat. Maybe you have them extended. Maybe you have the soles of the feet together. And then once you've found your spot, just notice how this feels in the body. The feeling should be a gradual, maybe discomfort, nothing sharp or really deliberate because we don't want to feel any pain here. But feeling to where it is a little bit uncomfortable is normal. That's a lot of the practice. And just see if you can close your eyes as you start to tap into your Ujjayi breath. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Taking this time to connect with our breath, it'll be our energy source throughout our practice. So as we inhale, feeling the space right below the navel start to lift. As it draws upward, we're going to feel an expansion through the belly, the side bodies, the rib cage, and that breath draws all the way up to where it lifts the collarbones. On our exhalation, we're going to feel our belly button draw in towards the spine, which will allow us to use all three parts of the lungs. And we'll create a rhythm with our breath, our audible breaths, where you hear a snoring like sound in the back of the throat, kind of like you're fogging up a mirror with your nose. And let's see if we can inhale to the count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just continue with this rhythm. And while you're doing so, I'm going to talk to you about our throat chakra, our 5th chakra. So it not only is our throat, it also encompasses our neck, our jaw, our mouth, our ears. It's responsible for things like our expression and our communication, authenticity, listening, which you'll notice in this practice because we'll be facing the back. Sometimes we really do have to use our listening skills. And the affirmation that I'm offering up this week that coincides with our throat chakra is I align my words with my highest truth. Again, that's I align my words with my highest truth. And feel free to utilize that if it resonates with you. We'll be also referring it back to it throughout our practice today. On our next inhale, let's find a nice full body stretch. We're going to keep the blocks underneath us, so you're going to create a little bit more of a back bend as you reach the arms up overhead. And you can point the toes towards the front, just feeling how that space has changed as you bring the arms up. And then when you're ready, you can place the soles of the feet onto the mat, rolling to one side to remove the blocks, placing the blocks to the side, and then coming back onto your back without any props underneath you, and coming into that full body stretch again. Maybe this time moving the head from side to side or making some rotations in the wrists, the ankles, just saying hello to your Saturday afternoon body. And then we'll bring our hands together at our heart center, our Anjali Mudra, as we set our intention for our practice today. And maybe that intention is utilizing that affirmation of I align my words with my highest truth. Or maybe something else resonates with you that you'd like to tap into today. Please honor that. And we'll take another big breath in here. Exhale, let it go. And then when you're ready, start to open up the eyes. We'll start to bring in some movement with our breath. You might bring your knees into your chest, giving them a nice big hug, just rocking along the spine, maybe coming into your happy baby pose. Maybe placing your hands onto your knees, making circles going in one direction and then the other. If you find anything interesting, maybe hanging out in that space a little bit longer, breathing into it. One more breath in here. And then as we exhale, bring your knees into your chest. Give them a nice big hug, maybe round the spine, draw the nose towards the knees, making yourself into this little ball. And then we're gonna move into a spinal twist. So lower the head, bring the arms out to the sides like you're making the letter T, and let those legs fall over towards the right. You might place your hand on that top leg as you gaze past your left fingertips. Giving yourself permission to fully surrender into the mat and into the floor. One more breath in. Exhale. And then we'll switch outside. So we'll bring our legs and our gaze through center as we come into our spinal twist, letting those legs fall over towards the left or towards the mirrors. Maybe placing your hand on that top leg as you gaze past your right fingertips. One more breath here. Exhale. And then bring your gaze back to center. Bring your legs back to center. Give them a nice squeeze as we start to rock and roll forward and back. So making this movement as big or as small as you like. You might almost come into that plow pose as you bring the legs back. We'll eventually make our way into a tabletop position. So we'll come onto our hands and knees. As we come on to our hands and knees, just checking in with what the body needs. So maybe finding some lateral movement or some cat-cow movement here. Maybe you want to get a stretch in the wrists. You might even shift your hips back like you're coming into child's pose, extending one knee out to the side, getting into those side bodies, just seeing how that feels. Yeah, and then we're gonna move into our puppy dog pose. So maybe Lionel can help us out with this one, but we're gonna walk our hands forward, bring our chest towards the mat. Maybe your forehead is there. If you have more space available, you might start to bring your chin forward. And the version I like to do is bring my palms to where they're facing inward. That helps relax the shoulders a little bit more, but you could also bring it to where your palms are facing up towards the ceiling. And really pay attention to your breath here. As you inhale, feeling the side bodies and the rib cage expand. Exhale, feeling the belly button draw in towards the spine. One more breath in. Exhale. And then slither forward onto your belly. We're coming into Sphinx pose. So you can wiggle a little bit through the hips. If you feel any discomfort in the lower back, you can always lift up that belly button, drawing it in. And think about drawing your shoulders back as you bring your chest forward. And then we're gonna get into the neck. So we're gonna bring our chin down, and we're gonna start to go from side to side, bring the chin to each shoulder, moving at a pace that feels good. So maybe you find something interesting to linger into a little bit longer. More breath here. As we exhale, slide the hands back, bring them underneath the shoulders, and we're gonna tuck all 10 toes under as we make our way into our first down dog of the practice. And as we come into this space, starting to warm up and maybe bicycling the legs. You might bend your knees as you move your hips from side to side. Great time to check in with your breath, so make sure you're not holding the breath here as you inhale and exhale through the nose. Just letting your head relax as you gaze past the legs. Big breath in here. Exhale. And then as we inhale, shift it forward into your plank pose, nice and strong, keeping a long neck as you gaze towards the top of the mat. Exhale, push it back into your down dog, lifting up those hips. Nice, we'll inhale, shifting it forward, plank pose. Exhale, pushing it back into our down dog. This time we'll inhale, shifting forward, plank pose. And as we exhale, we'll lower all the way onto our bellies for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1, coming all the way down. Tops of the feet coming to the mat, hands are underneath the shoulders. And we'll inhale, lifting up into our cobra pose. Exhale, we lower. And we'll start to move through this at the pace of our breath. So feel free to also change up anything that you might want to. So maybe coming onto your fingertips in a wide stance. You might then go into some shoulder dips. Really nice. Next time that you lower down, we'll bring those hands underneath the shoulders as we push it back into our down dog, lifting up those hips. From this space, bend those knees a lot, and we're gonna gaze forward as we either walk or float to the top of our mat, finding our forward fold, and then place a really big bend in the knees. We're gonna roll all the way up to standing. Soon as our head lifts, let's reach those arms up, gaze is up. As we exhale, bring the arms behind the back. We're gonna interlace those fingers. If available, maybe bring those palms together as we work those hands down, lifting up through the chest, dropping those shoulders, maybe lifting up the gaze, really breathing into the throat here. Inhale. And as we exhale, come into your forward fold. So you might bend the knees a lot as you shift forward. Feel free to separate your feet if that feels better in this space, and you might sway from side to side or shake the head out as if you're saying yes and no. Notice also what your breath is doing. See if you can turn it on, if it's starting to become shallow at all. Really nice. Take one more big breath in. And then as we exhale, release your hands. Fingertips can come to toes or hands to shins as we lengthen halfway. And then bend the knees enough to plant the palms as we step the left foot back, coming into our runner's lunge. So we might have our blocks that we used at the beginning to each side of the foot as we start to shift forward and back from our runner's lunge to a pyramid-like pose. You can always lower that back knee down too. You can also linger anywhere if that feels good, if there's something that needs a little bit more attention. Lionel says, did someone say attention? I can know someone that needs attention. Yeah, and the next time that you shift it forward, lower that back knee down right above the kneecap and then sink into that forward leg. So you're gonna drop your head down, chin draws in, so breathe into the back of the neck, breathe into that left hip flexor. Inhaling. Exhale. And then lifting up those arms, we'll find our supported crescent pose, bringing the arms up overhead as the shoulders draw down. Keep lifting up through the chest. Feeling those inner thighs drawn towards each other like you're holding something in between the legs, so using that adduction. Inhale. As we exhale, we're gonna come into a twist, so we're gonna scissor the arms, left arm forward, right arm back. Gaze can go towards that back thumb. And we'll make sure that the back toes are tucked under here. From this space, we're gonna bring our knees together. So you can always have a block there for the left hand to help bring that knee back, or you may do that just with your core engaged, bringing both knees together into this kneeling position. And we're coming into a half camel pose. So right hand to the small of the back, left arm reaches up, or if there's space, you can reach for that back heel. Either way, we're drawing those hips forward. Our gaze is up towards the fingertips or past our right shoulder. One more big breath in. As As we exhale, we'll switch it out. So left hand to the small of the back as right arm reaches up, or maybe we find that heel. Working those hips forward as our gaze either goes up towards the fingertips or past our left shoulder. Big breath in. On your exhale, gaze straight ahead. We're going to step forward with the right foot, so we can always use our blocks to help us find that space, or we just step that foot forward. Once we do, we lift up that back knee for our runner's lunge, and we're moving into Skandasana, so we're going to side lunge towards the back of the mat, from side to side, just moving at our pace. You can always have your hands at heart center. You can always walk from side to side. You look like you're on a mission, buddy, so that usually ends up with some serious barking. Next time your right knee is bent, we'll hold it here. Just depending on where you are, you might do something different. If you're up higher, you could always do some pulses. If you're down lower, you might stay here. Maybe you find a twist, bringing that right arm in front of your right leg, left arm up. You could also walk your hands forward, breathing space into the lower back. One more breath here. Exhale. And then we're going to face forward, coming into our runner's lunge. Plant the hands as you bring that right leg back, coming into your one-legged down dog. We're going to open up that hip right away, so heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling. Work that left heel down, and we can stay in this full body yawn, or we start to make some circles going in one direction. Yeah, going in the other direction. Nice, and then we'll inhale, opening up that hip, heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling, and we keep opening up all the way to where those toes touch the floor and our seat comes onto the mat. So as we bring our seat down, the left leg is extended and the right knee is bent. We're going to bring our hands by our sides as we come into this reverse, I'm calling it reverse table, but it's reverse table plank, right? So we'll lift up, maybe our gaze is straight ahead up at the ceiling, or we can drop the head back if that feels okay in the neck. One more breath here. Exhale, lower the seat. We're moving into our wild thing. Every time that leg is extended, that's the hand that's down. The leg that's bent, that's the arm that's up. So we're gonna come onto the ball of that foot as we lift up our hips. Can always make some circles with the arm, bend and straighten that leg. On our inhale, we lift up. Exhale, gaze forward. So we're going to be moving into our spinal balance. So keep that right arm lifted. Lower the right knee down. And as soon as that right knee lowers down, we'll lift up the left leg as we reach in those opposing directions. So really strong, straight back leg, really strong arm as we reach forward. As we exhale, bring the elbow and knee to center. Inhale, we extend. Exhale, we bring it in. Inhale, we extend. Exhale, we bring it in. Hold it here. Bring that hand down. Really push the mat away. As we bring that left foot all the way through in between the hands, pick up that back knee, and then bring the right foot to meet the left foot at the top of your mat as you come into your forward fold. Take a full breath in. Exhale. Roll all the way up to standing. Soon as our head lifts, arms reach up overhead, gaze is up. Exhale, arms come behind the back. We're going to interlace the weird way, so opposite thumb on top. Draw those hands down, maybe bring the palms together if that space is there. Shoulders draw down, maybe lifting up the head, dropping that head back. Exhale, forward fold. So you might have that bend in the knees as you shift into that forward fold. And find some space here. Maybe you're swaying or shaking the head out as if you're saying yes and no. Really nice. Take one more breath in. Exhale, release those hands. Fingertips come to toes or hands to shins as we lengthen halfway. And then bend the knees enough, plant the hands down. As you step the right foot back, coming into your runner's lunge. So again, maybe have those blocks to each side as we start to shift forward and back here. Just moving at your pace. We know that both sides are not the same. If they're twins, they're fraternal. So just listening to what each side needs. Next time that we shift it forward, lower that back knee down right above the kneecap and start to sink into that forward leg. So drop your chin down, breathing into that hip flexor on the right side. One more breath in. Exhale. And then on our inhale, reach those arms up overhead, come into that supported crescent pose. Really lifting up through the chest. Inhale. As we exhale, we're going to scissor those arms so our twist comes. So we'll bring that right arm forward, left arm back as we twist towards the mirror side. Make sure your back toes are tucked under. And know that you always have that block available for your right hand, but we're bringing those knees together so we're coming into that kneeling position. To our half camel pose. So left hand to the small of our back or to our heel as we reach up through those right fingertips. Big breath here. Exhale, switch outside. So left arm is up, right arm is down, finding your half camel here. Big breath in. Exhale, gaze straight ahead. Using your blocks or not, we step that left foot forward, coming into our runner's lunge. And we're moving into Skandasana from side to side. So maybe with a little bit more pacing since we've been here already. And the next time that you are towards the front of your mat, we'll hold it here, finding whatever variation you like. Maybe it's the same as the first side, or maybe you change it up. One more breath in. Exhale. We'll face forward, coming into our runner's lunge. Plant the palms as you find that one-legged down dog. So opening up that hip behind, knee up towards the ceiling. Coming into that full body yawn or making those circles going in one direction. Going in the other direction. Really nice. And then we'll open up that hip, heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling. Keep lowering that foot all the way down to where we come onto our seat facing the back. So this time, right leg's extended and left knee is bent. We'll come into that reverse table plank by bringing the hands by our sides, lifting up. Gaze stay straight ahead, up at the ceiling, or you could drop your head back. Big inhale. Exhale, lower the seat. We're setting up for wild things. So right hand is to the outside of the right leg, left arm reaches up. Come onto the ball of that left foot as you lift up the hips. We can stay here. We can make that movement by bending and straightening the legs, making circles with that left arm. Inhale, lift up. We're moving into that spinal balance. So keep the left arm lifted. Gaze towards the top of your mat as you bring that left knee down. And we lift up that right leg, finding our spinal balance as we reach in those opposing directions, getting nice and long here. Big breath in. As we exhale, draw it to the center. Inhale, we extend. Exhale, bring it in. Once more, we inhale. Exhale, bring it in. Hold it here. Bring your left hand down, but bring that foot all the way through, coming into your runner's lunge. And then left foot will meet that right foot at the top of the mat as we come into our forward fold. Let it go. Take a full breath in here. Exhale. And we'll roll all the way up to standing. Arms will reach up overhead as we inhale. Exhale, bring the arms behind the back. Interlace those fingers, working those hands down as we lift up through the chest. Exhale, come into your forward fold. Fingertips to toes or hands to shins as we lengthen halfway, and then we'll plant the palms as we step it back into our plank position. Option to lower halfway or all the way down. Inhaling into your cobra or maybe up dog. Exhaling into your down dog, lifting up those hips nice and high. Take a full breath in here. As we exhale, lowering the knees, finding a resting position, because that concludes our warm-up for the practice. So just taking a moment to check in with your breath. Feel free to get a drink of water. How we feeling? All right, we're gonna be moving into our first main sequence. So the slow variation, we do both sequences one time a piece, and then we bring them together. So we start out with our peanut butter, and then our jelly, and then our peanut butter and jelly sequence sandwich at the end. So we are so lucky to start both of them in chair pose today. I have been reminding my classes this week that we have not done chair pose in my class in a while. So, it was bound to come back. So just take a moment to kind of check in with your breath, check in with our affirmation of inhaling, I align my words, exhaling with my highest truth. Again, I align my words with my highest truth. Are we going to meet in mountain pose? Or it could be a forward fold at the top of your mat, whatever you feel is best as you come into this space. Because we're going to be moving into chair pose. So sometimes it's nicer to move from chair pose from a forward fold. Sometimes you like it from standing. It's really whatever. But we'll bring our feet together. We're going to start to shift our weight back into our heels as we either extend through the arms or we can bring those hands to heart center. So yogi's choice. Keep sitting back. And we're going to keep sitting back because we're going to come all the way onto our seats. So if you need help, you can always use those blocks underneath you. Otherwise, we make our way all the way to our asana. And then we come into boat pose. So we can start out on our fingertips and our toes. Really think about drawing those shoulders back. Or we can start to lengthen through the legs. You can also reach those arms forward. So it's up to you what variation you like, but there's a lot of different ones to play around with. Keep your gaze lifted as you draw those shoulders back so you're allowing the heart to lift at the same time. Lower the left foot down, lower the right leg down. This probably looks familiar already, so we'll bring our hands down as we inhale, coming into our reverse table pose. Breathing into the shoulders of the chest. Inhale. Exhale, lower that seat. Moving into wild things, so left arm is gonna reach up as we come onto the ball of that foot, lifting up the hips. As we transition into our spinal balance. So left knee's gonna come down, we're facing the back of the room. Right leg will lift. Yeah, so left arm, right leg, perfect. And then we'll bring it into the center for 3, for 2, and 1. Holding it here on the 1, bring that hand down as you bring that foot all the way through. We're coming into our runner's lunge, and then lifting up the torso for our full crescent pose. So arms will reach up overhead. We might be able to find a little bit of a bounce here. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. So if you need to walk that right foot out to the side, do it. Take one more big breath in. As we exhale, bring the hands down, one-legged down dog. So shoot the right leg back. And then we're bringing that knee across. So we're gonna twist in the torso as we bring it over towards that left tricep. And we're gonna ground down through that left foot as we extend the right leg for fallen triangle pose. Know that you can always bring that right knee underneath you. But if you wanna find some movement here, maybe make some circles with the left arm and bend and straighten with the right leg. Inhale, we lift up. On our exhale, bring the right knee underneath the body. Yeah, so we're setting up for gate pose. So we're gonna push the floor away as we lift up the torso, reaching the right arm overhead as we let that left arm slide down that leg. You can always have your gaze towards the arm or straight ahead. One more breath in. On your exhale, bring the right hand down. Bring your left hand down so it's almost like you're coming into a push-up. towards the back. But instead, you're gonna pick up the right leg and bring that foot behind the left as you come onto your butt. So left leg is extended, right leg is bent, hands come by the sides as we inhale into our reverse table. Exhale, we lower. We're gonna bring that left hand to the outside of the thigh as we reach the right arm up, coming into our wild thing onto the ball of that foot. We're moving into our spinal balance. So we're gonna bring that right knee down as we face the back and lift up the left leg. So we're reaching in those opposing directions. Nice. We bring it to center for 3, for 2, and 1. Hold it in on the 1, bring that right hand down, push the floor away to bring that left foot all the way through. And we're moving into crescent pose, so back knee lifts as we reach those arms up overhead. Maybe finding a little bit of a bounce here. See if you can work those shoulders down more as you lift up your gaze and your chest. Nice. Inhale. On our exhale, bring the hands down, one-legged down dog, so shoot the left leg back. And we're gonna move into our fallen triangle pose, so that knee comes across towards the right tricep, so twist in the torso. Ground down through your back foot as you extend the left leg. Right arm reaches. Can always bring that knee underneath you if you need to. On our exhale, bring that left knee underneath the body, setting up for gate pose. So we push the floor away to lift up that torso, reaching that left arm overhead as we let the right arm slide down the leg. As we exhale, bring your left hand down, bring your right hand down, and we're gonna pick up the left leg as we put that foot behind our right onto our seat. Once we're on our seat, bring both soles of the feet onto the mat. We're facing forward, and we're gonna come into our actual reverse table. As we lift up those hips, maybe let the head drop back. Breathing into your shoulders and your chest. One more breath in. Exhale, lower the seat. How we doing? All right, that's our peanut butter today. So take a moment to check in. We'll move into our jelly next. If we're ready for that jelly. We're gonna be coming to the top of our mat again because I already promised you chair pose for both of them to begin with. But you saw, it's gonna be a little bit different for this than the last one. I was like, oh, one time? Okay, we can do that. So we'll come to the top of the mat. Inhale, I align my words. Exhale with my highest truth. Again, I align my words with my highest truth. All right, sit it back into your chair pose. I'm a big advocate of bringing the hands to heart center, but we're not going to be here very long and we have to use our arms for this next part. So we'll inhale into that chair. Exhale, we're twisting towards the painting. So we'll scissor those arms, left arm forward, right arm back. Now bring your weight all the way back into your heels. Maybe play with lifting up those toes. Notice how that changes a lot. Yes. So strong as you bring that weight back. Feel those glutes engage. And then can you shift your weight into your right leg? So you're gonna pick up the left leg to bring your knee down. So those back toes are tucked under. And then the right knee is going to meet it. So we're coming into our kneeling position to our half camel pose. So right hand to the small of our back or towards that heel as we reach up through those left fingertips, bringing those hips forward. And then we switch it out. So right arm is up, left arm is down. Big breath in. Exhale, gaze straight ahead. So we're moving into our half moon. We might take our block with us as we step the right foot forward and open up towards the mirror side of the room, picking up that left arm and leg. So those toes will face towards the mirror or towards the left. Notice where your weight is in the foot. We want to bring it to the ball of the foot, but not all the way to the toes. So lift up your quad muscle. Try to flex more through that left foot, maybe spread through those toes to find activation so it's not all relying on that right leg. You got it. Take another big breath in here. So listen, on our exhale, really big bend in that right knee because we want to land that left foot. And as soon as it lands, we're coming into Skandasana to the back of our mat. Snap, crackle, pop. And then we shift it forward into warrior two from here. So hips are staying squared towards the left side or towards the mirrors, maybe palms face up. We have a super strong and straight back leg, feeling grounded by drawing our tail towards that back heel. And we can gaze past those fingertips, check in with your breath here. Notice that rise and fall of the belly and the side bodies. One more big breath in. Exhale, leading with that left arm, we're gonna cartwheel the hands down. We'll plant the palms and we make our way to our down dog. So if you wanna take a vinyasa, cool. If not, you can just step it back into that down dog. And that is our jelly. From our down dog, take a full breath in. Exhale, bending the knees. We're to gaze forward as we step or float to the top of our mat. Inhale, we'll lengthen halfway. Exhale into our forward fold. Stay in this forward fold, just check in with the breath. We'll start to bring our feet together. And we're gonna move into the second side. So as we inhale, sit it back as you reach those arms up. As we exhale, we're twisting towards the left or towards the mirror. So we'll scissor those arms, right arm forward, left arm back. Bring your weight back. So see if you can lift those toes up. So strong, drawing those inner thighs towards each other. Inhale. Exhale, shift your weight into the left leg. See if you can start to pick up that right foot to bring that knee all the way down. Back toes are tucked. Know that you always have blocks available to help you with this, but otherwise bring that left knee to meet the right. All 10 toes are tucked as we find that half camel pose. Right arm reaches up as we find our placement for the left. Keep shifting those hips forward. Inhale. Exhale, we'll switch it out. So left arm is up, right arm is down. Pushing forward with the hips. Inhale. Exhale, gaze straight ahead. We're moving into half moon. We step that left foot forward. Might have our block there for our hand as we open it up to the right or towards the paintings. Flexing through the right foot like you're placing a big footprint onto the back wall. Really nice. See if you can lift it up just a little bit higher. Beautiful. And then as you exhale, big bend in that left knee so slowly to land that back foot so we can come into Skandasana to the back of our mat. So we can crack some more. And then we'll shift it forward into our warrior two. So hips stay square towards the right or towards the paintings. See if you can bring that forward knee outward like it's over the small toe to feel that opening in the hip. One more big breath in. On our exhale, leading with that right arm, we'll cartwheel it down. Option to take your vinyasa or go right to your down dog. Or whatever resting position of choice. Because that completes our jelly section. How we doing? Woohoo! All right. Guess what time it is? It's my favorite time. It's peanut butter and jelly time. So we're gonna bring our two sequences together to make it one long, delicious sequence. And then we're done. I mean, we're pretty much done, right? All right. When we're ready, let's make our way to the top of our mat. I align my words with my highest truth. Give yourself your little pep talk. We will do one little small change, and that's just to connect the two together. It's not a big deal. I'll let you know what's going on. Take a big breath in. Exhale, let it go. All right, let's do this. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. As we exhale, we lower all the way onto our seat where we find our boat pose, any version that you like. Big breath in. Exhale, lower the left foot down and the right leg down. We'll inhale into that reverse table. Exhale, lower the hips. Inhale, coming into wild thing, so left arm reaches up. And we're gonna lower the left knee down as we face the back for spinal balance. So right leg extends back. And we bring them to center for 3, for 2. On 1, hold it here, bring that hand down as you push the floor away to bring that right foot through. And we're coming right into our crescent pose. So arms will reach up overhead, breathing right into that heart center. And as we exhale, hands come down. One-legged down dog, shoot the right leg back. Bring it all the way across for our fallen triangle pose. So we're twisting in the torso, extending that leg as the left arm reaches up. We inhale. Exhale, bring the right knee underneath the body, setting up for gate pose. So we're lifting up our torso, facing the paintings. Right arm reaches up and overhead as we breathe into that side body. Nice. This is where we're changing. We're still bringing that right hand down. But as we bring that right hand down, we lift up the left leg. We swing that left leg to the back of the mat so that we can plant our foot there. And then the right foot is going to meet it as we come into chair pose, reaching those arms up. As we exhale, we twist towards the mirrors or towards the right. Shifting that weight into the right leg, bring that left knee down, toes are tucked under, and bring the right knee to meet it. Inhale into your half camel pose, left arm is up. And then we switch it out, right arm is up. We gaze to the back of our mat as we step the right foot forward, setting up for half moon. So maybe you have your block there for your right hand as you open up towards the paintings or towards the left. Big breath here. On your exhale, big bend in that right knee, soft landing for that foot. Skandasana towards the front of your mat. Warrior 2 towards the back of your mat on the right side. Big full inhale. Exhale, leading with that left arm, we cartwheel it down. We make our way to down dog, however we want to get there. First side is done is what that means. Woohoo! Once you find that down dog, full breath in. Exhale, let it go. Oh my goodness. Bend those knees, gazing forward as we step or float to the back of our mat. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. So stay in that forward fold for a minute, just check in. All right, we've got one more side. So sit it back into those heels, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, we'll lower our seat all the way onto the mat for boat pose, finding your version. Big breath here. Exhale, bend the right leg. Bring that sole of the foot down and bring that left leg down. Reverse table variation, so lifting up those hips. And then lowering. Right arm reaches up for wild thing, coming onto the ball of that foot. We're facing forward for that spinal balance, so right knee comes down. Left leg lifts as we reach in those opposing directions. And we bring it in for 3. For 2, and 1. Hold it here, bring that hand down as you bring that foot all the way through. Crescent pose, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, hands come down, one-legged down dog. Bring it all the way across for fallen triangle pose on the inhale. Exhale, bring that left knee underneath the body, gate pose. So lift up your torso, reach with that left arm overhead. And then we'll bring the left hand down. We'll bring that right leg up. This is where we change. We're swinging that right leg all the way to the top so we can plant that right foot. We can plant our left foot for chair pose, arms reach. Exhale, we twist towards the mirrors because we're facing the other direction, so I know it's the same twisting direction. And then weight comes into that left leg as we bring the right knee down. We'll bring the left knee to meet it as we inhale into our half camel pose. And then we switch it out, left arm is up. Gaze straight ahead, stepping the left foot forward for half moon as we open up towards the paintings. Big bend in that left knee, soft landing, Skandasana to the back of the mat. And we shift forward for our warrior two on the left side. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Option to take your down dog or go through your vinyasa before you get there. You did it, yay. When you're ready, you can make your way to seated. I'm gonna turn off the bright lights. I think we're good. Yeah. And as you come into a seated position, go ahead and place any of your props you might want to utilize to one long edge of the mat so that they're nice and accessible for you. And you might bring the soles of the feet onto the mat as you reach your arms forward. Chin draws into chest as we start to slowly lower it down, one vertebra at a time. And we're gonna come into our reclined pigeon pose from here. So bring your right ankle to meet your left knee. You can start out by gently pressing to the inside of that knee, or if you have more space, you can start to lift up that left foot, maybe interlacing the fingers underneath the knee or across the shin. Or you could always have a block underneath that left foot or underneath your head if you are in that bind, but your head is lifted. And you might rock along the spine here or use your elbow as leverage to push that knee further forward. I'm gonna move into some bee breath in this space. So we'll inhale in through the nose and we'll exhale out that hum. And we'll just continue to do that for several breaths. I'll let you know when it's the last one, but big inhale in through the nose. Exhaling, and we'll release from there, letting go of that bee breath as we come into a spinal twist, letting our legs fall over towards the left, maybe gazing past the right fingertips as you let the body surrender into the mat. Just finding that regular Ujjayi breath here until we go into our other pigeon on the other side. And our bee breath is a great way to calm down our nervous system. The vibrations from it are really calming and soothing to the body. There are no contraindications, so anyone can do it. And it's really hard, I don't know if you noticed, to think about anything else when you're humming. So bee breath kind of lets go of any of the thoughts that come into mind. So I always recommend this for things, like traffic or tough conversations. If you're about to have one of those, maybe go into some bee breath first. And when we all do it together and we continuously do it, together we're a beehive. Not the kind that's seeing Beyonce tonight in Houston, though, unfortunately. Take one more big breath in here. Exhale. We'll bring our gaze and our legs back to center, setting up for our second side, so letting that left ankle meet the right knee this time. And again, maybe one side is different than the other side, so just listen to what you need. You could always keep that foot down, or if you have a bind or want to use a block in some way, all great options. Once you find your version, close the eyes. Big inhale in through the nose. Exhaling. And then we'll move into our spinal twist when you're ready, letting those legs fall over towards the right or towards the paintings as you maybe gaze past your left fingertips. Just giving yourself permission to fully surrender into the mat and into the floor. Two breaths as we inhale. Exhale. Big breath in. Exhale, let it go. And then we'll bring our legs and our gaze back to center, giving them a nice hug, just checking in, seeing if there's anything else that you need to feel complete in your practice. If not, that's perfect, because next we're coming to our final pose of Shavasana, our final relaxation. So when you're ready, you can come into your final space. See if you can take up space on your mat. So nice wide stance with the legs, allowing the feet to fall freely to the sides. Arms can come down by your sides with palms facing up. And as you come into this space, be so proud of yourself for all the hard work that you just did. Be proud of the others that joined you on this journey today, providing you their positive energy and encouragement. And know that I'm so very proud of you. Proud of you for making this commitment to yourself and your mat. I'm proud of you for all the hard work that you put in. So now just give yourself this gift of doing nothing. You made it. You deserve it. Let your breath be soft and let your body be still. Absolutely no worries. Just be. Just be. Start to deepen your breath. Drawing your arms up overhead, getting a stretch from your fingertips all the way down to your toes as you awaken to this new body. And then bringing the knees into your chest, give them a nice big hug as you roll to your side in your fetal-like pose. Our pose for new beginnings. I align my words with my highest truth. Take this feeling with you as you leave the mat. That is when our true yoga begins. When you're ready, we'll meet in a seated position of choice. Hands will come to heart center, our Anjali Mudra, as we tuck our chin under. And we close our practice today with Namaste. Thank you. Yeah.